Rightio, to start with, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws you need to take out. They're Phillips head, just be careful they're only in a plastic mounting. Once you've got all the screws out, turn the unit the right way up and separate the two halves. It should come apart fairly easily. The top half has no connections to it. This is what you'll end up with. Depending on how you got it, it might be an idea to pull this mounting bar out. Okay, next thing you've got to do is take these 3 screws here off of the electrical panel. Right, once you've got those screws out, carefully lift this panel up. Underneath here you'll see there's an attachment wire. It's actually a very thin plastic connection. What you need to do is disconnect that from the plug. Let's do it very carefully because it's quite fragile. Just grasp it and pull it out. Then you can lift the electrical panel up and out of the way. Once you've got this out of the way, you now need to remove these 2 wires here which go to the motor. We've taken note of where they come from, the red and the black. Red goes to the outside. So just disconnect those and lay the piece down on its side. Now you can lift the whole mechanism up and out of the casing, which allows you access to the drive belts, which you can see are in here. What you now need to do is separate the engine from the shaft. There's 4 Phillips head screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be very careful because there is also a Phillips head earthing wire on this section here. So when you pull it apart after the screws are off, just hold on to it until you can take that screw there out. Once you've undone the screws, the 2 parts will come apart quite easily. If they don't, just pull them apart. As I said, make sure that this wire is disconnected from the base and then you have access to the drive belt, which is this one, to replace. Once you're putting it together, it's literally the reversal of what you did to take it apart. So again, make sure you've got the earth wire screwed on. The way I do it is I assemble it basically by hand, slip the belt over the engine or the motor cog and line up everything and just slots back in together. Bit of a push back into place, making sure everything is lined up, and then all you got to do now is put these 4 screws back in again. Once we've got the unit reassembled, now's the time to put the watertight seal over the end of the shaft. If you don't do it now, it becomes far more difficult once you get further into the assembly. From this point, reassemble. As I said, don't forget to put the wires in the groove. That unit slots into the slots, making sure you've got the wires lined up correctly. Next, attach the red and black wires, making sure they go back on the same way they came off. And the lead that goes to the compass detector unit. Then line up the circuit board over the top of the locating lugs and then put the 3 screws in. Now's the time to have a final check. Make sure everything is lined up, everything is flat. You can even turn the wheels by hand, make sure the shaft moves in and out if you want. Put the watertight seal in the groove all the way around You can check beforehand if you want, just to make sure the groove is nice and clean. Don't forget to replace the pin in the back. That just drops in. And then lastly, put the lid back on. Now when you do this, just make sure that it all just drops into place. A little bit of a push. Check around all the edges to make sure that the seal is nice, not bulging out anywhere. Turn it upside down and put your screws back in. And final check, once it's all assembled, just check the seal all the way around. Make sure it's nice and uniform, no bulges anywhere. And of course, last but not least, make sure there's no screws or washers left laying around. Thank you.